Operation Barbarossa was the code name for the German invasion of the Soviet Union on June 22, 1941, and it was one of the largest military operations in history. This operation marked the beginning of Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union during World War II. Causes of the operation: ideological. Adolf Hitler believed that the Soviet Union posed an ideological and political threat to Nazi Germany, particularly because of the Soviet Union's communist ideology. Hitler saw that National Socialism, Nazism, and Soviet communism could not coexist. Economic. The Soviet Union was rich in natural resources like oil and wheat, and Hitler believed that controlling these resources would help support the German war effort. Geographical. Hitler sought to expand Germany's Lebensraum, living space, to the east at the expense of Soviet lands. Participating countries. Germany, the leading country in the operation. Other Axis powers: Italy, Romania, Hungary, Finland, and Slovakia. The Soviet Union, the country under attack, defending its territory. German preparations. Logistical preparation. Before the invasion, Germany amassed around 3.8 million soldiers along the Soviet border, supported by 600,000 vehicles and 700,000 horses. Army groups. The German army was divided into three main groups. Army Group North targeted the Baltic region and the city of Leningrad. Army Group Center aimed to capture Moscow. Army Group South targeted Ukraine and the Caucasus region. Equipment. The German army was supported by approximately 3,600 tanks, 2,700 aircraft, and 7,000 artillery pieces. Soviet preparations. Soviet leadership did not anticipate the invasion. Despite receiving intelligence reports indicating the possibility of an attack, Stalin was skeptical and hesitant to take preemptive measures. Army size. The Soviet Union had about 5.5 million soldiers on its Western Front, but they were spread out along the border and not fully prepared. Equipment. The Soviet Army had large numbers of tanks, artillery, and aircraft, but it suffered from problems in leadership, control, and combat experience. Beginning of the invasion, June 22, 1941. The German invasion began in the early hours of the morning with intense aerial bombardment on Soviet positions. Rapid advance. In the first few weeks, German forces made rapid advances, capturing vast areas of Soviet territory. The invasion and casualties. German losses. Despite initial successes, German losses began to mount as the forces advanced deeper into Soviet territory, particularly with the onset of the harsh Russian winter. Soviet losses. Soviet military losses were enormous in the early stages, with hundreds of thousands of soldiers killed or captured. However, the Soviet army managed to reorganize and resist the German advance. Human losses. Both sides suffered millions of military and civilian casualties during this operation. Estimates suggest that the Soviet Union lost between 4.5 to 6 million soldiers in 1941 alone, while German losses were smaller but significant. Results of the operation. Failure of the operation. Despite the initial successes, Germany failed to achieve its strategic objectives. The German forces could not capture Moscow or Leningrad, and their ability to continue the offensive was severely hampered by the winter. Soviet victory. The Soviet Union was able to mobilize its vast reserves and reorganize its army, leading to a shift in the balance of power on the Eastern Front by 1942. Operation Barbarossa was a turning point in World War II, as it led to the depletion of German forces and their failure to achieve their objectives, ultimately contributing to the eventual defeat of Nazi Germany.